back close to 40 on Wednesday. That's the latest on your weather from the storm.
Good morning, my friend. Great to have you along this morning. I hope you had a really wonderful Thanksgiving. It was a terrific weekend. It went pretty fast. So here we go. The big story this morning, the president pardoning his son, Hunter Biden, which comes as a surprise to no one. So we'll get into that here this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense, no prescription required.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time.
I don't believe in a no-win scenario.
This is the Greg Belfrage.
Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. It is great to have you along on this Monday, December 2nd. Already we're into December, and it's really great to have you along. So the big story this morning is the president, and I know this is one of those stories, it doesn't come as any surprise, I think. So the president announcing a pardon for his son, Hunter Biden, yesterday. And he said that he struggled with the decision. Has he struggled with the decision? He's told us repeatedly he would not pardon his son, Hunter. He's been asked that question repeatedly, always said, nope, he would not pardon his son, Hunter. And now he did what many of us believed that he would do. Why did I believe that? Because he doesn't have the moral character to, this. So I knew he was going to show us who he was. And this is exactly what he did. So this is not a big surprise to many of us. It's infuriating to many of us. However, it's not a surprise to most of us who expected this coming. So the president saying yesterday, he said, here's the truth. Has he ever told us the truth? Here's the truth. I believe in the justice system. But as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process, and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. So I certainly understand why he did it, and it's not to protect Hunter Biden, it's to protect himself. I believe that all along. I believe that Joe Biden was out to protect himself. So it had nothing to do with Hunter Biden. It's all about him. So protecting himself did not surprise me in the least. That he has made that decision. In fact, many of us believe, okay, after the election, sometime after the election, regardless as to whether, because if he won re-election, he's in, right? If he lost the election, what does he care? He's out. So I fully expected that sometime between November and the end of this year that he was going to pardon his son Hunter. I fully expected that he would do that. And he did. And it's not because it's about Hunter. It's not because there's been any kind of miscarriage against Hunter Biden. It's all because of him. And then you had Karine Jean-Pierre at the Ministry of Truth repeatedly saying, I think 6 times, saying that the president was not going to pardon his son Hunter Biden. So now suddenly, he's reflected on it, and we'll get your reaction to this. In fact, I asked this morning on Facebook, for those of you who follow me on Facebook, I asked how you're feeling about the president's decision. You can feel free to comment there. You can drop me an email anytime. greg.belfridge@kelo.com is my email address. And we'll open up the phone lines and we'll visit with you about this. So the president saying his son was treated differently by prosecutors. He said without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions, but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties, are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It's clear that Hunter was treated differently, the president said. There's been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. So I have a real problem with that selective prosecution versus what we have seen happening with Donald Trump and with the January 6th defendants, and it's just crazy. He said, President said, in trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough. And then he said, I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. So that's a big story this morning. Fox News has 6 times that Karine Jean-Pierre said that the president would not pardon his son Hunter. 6 times she promised that. And she was asked the question very specifically back in July, and this goes on. So Karine Jean-Pierre arguing as far back as July of last year that Hunter Biden would not be pardoned. And she was asked this again. She said, so I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, and I was very clear, and I said no, that the president would not, and this just goes on. But again, I think many of us expected that this would be coming, whether he won or lost the election. I think particularly if he lost, that this would be coming. Also, Hunter Biden, after the pardon, he said yesterday that he's taken responsibility for his mistakes, which have been exploited to publicly humiliate and shame me and my family for political sport, he said. I have admitted and taken responsibility for my mistakes during the darkest days of my addiction, mistakes that have been exploited, he said. Despite all of this statement to Fox News, despite all of this, I have maintained my sobriety for more than 5 years because of my deep faith and the unwavering love and support of my family and friends, he said. So he is talking about his recovery. He said, I will never take the clemency I've been given today for granted and will devote the life I have that I have rebuilt to helping those who are still sick and suffering. So Donald Trump said on a post on Truth Social, and it was not very long, it was just he said, does the pardon by Joe to Hunter include the January 6th hostages who have now been in prison for years? Such an abuse and miscarriage of justice. So that's the only reaction that we've seen thus far from Donald Trump. You have some members of Congress and others who are reacting. Representative James Comer said the charges that Hunter was facing are just the tip of the iceberg in the blatant corruption that President Biden and the Biden crime family have lied about to the American people. And he said on X that President Biden and his family continue to do everything they can to avoid accountability. Joe Biden has lied from start to finish about his family's corrupt influence peddling activities. Not only has he falsely claimed that he never met with his son's foreign business associates and that his son did nothing wrong, but he also lied when he said he would not pardon Hunter Biden. So he said these charges are the tip of the iceberg. He said it's unfortunate that rather than come clean about their decades of wrongdoing, President Biden and his family continue to do everything they can to avoid accountability. So that's Representative Jim Comer reacting to this. Axios is also picking up on Comer's comments, saying that Joe Biden has lied from start to finish about his family's corrupt influence peddling activities. Representative Don Bacon of Nebraska said, I've seen unseemly pardons since Bill Clinton. This fits that category, he said. Representative Kevin Kiley of California said Biden just cemented his legacy as one of our very worst presidents. Oh, I think he had done that long before this. But I would agree, he cemented it with this. So the president in his statement saying no reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion that Hunter was singled out only because he is my son. So it's Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. It's the Biden family that has been, persecuted by the federal government. And it's just a little bit much. So I'm trying to see what else other folks are saying. Let's go to the Hill. I think most of the major players I've already mentioned. The reaction from Trump, from Representative Jim Comer, Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio said Democrats said there was nothing to our impeachment inquiry. If that's the case, why did Joe Biden just issue Hunter Biden a pardon for the very things we were inquiring about, he said. Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa said, I'm shocked President Biden pardoned his son Hunter because he said many times he wouldn't, and I believed him. Shame on me, said Senator Chuck Grassley. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin said that under Democrat governance, there truly is a dual system of justice, one that protects the Democrats and another weaponized against their political opponents. Yeah, it's just crazy. Then you had Colorado Governor Jared Polis, who's a Democrat, saying, while as a father, I certainly understand President Biden's natural desire to help his son by pardoning him, I am disappointed that he put his family ahead of the country, as many of us are. He said, this is a bad precedent that could be abused by later presidents and will sadly tarnish his reputation. Representative Greg Stanton, another Democrat, this one from Arizona, said, I respect President Biden, but I think he got this one wrong. This wasn't a politically motivated prosecution. Hunter committed felonies and was convicted by a jury of his peers, he said. So a lot of reaction. Front page of the New York Post this morning, DOJ double standard. Donald Trump reacting to the president's pardoning of Hunter. Miranda Devine's got a piece at the New York Post reacting, and she's the headline is, "We always knew Joe Biden would pardon Hunter. Fitting the president would break another promise to the American people." Yeah, I totally agree that many of us knew this was coming. This is not a big shock, not a big surprise. We knew this was coming. That's a big story. There's a lot more reaction to this. So we're going to talk about that quite a little bit this morning. We'll get your reaction as we open up the phone lines coming up a little later in the program. Also, Donald Trump then really is shaking up Washington, the establishment in Washington. He has nominated Kash Patel then as the new director of the FBI. And Senator Grassley of Iowa said on X that now he's talking here about Christopher Wray, who's the current FBI director, was appointed by Trump in 2017. This is Senator Grassley of Iowa saying that Christopher Wray has failed at fundamental duties of FBI director. And he said Wray has shown disdain for congressional oversight and hasn't lived up to his promises, he said. Meanwhile, we have South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds, who was on ABC's This Week program. And he said, and he was speaking in defense of Christopher Wray. He said, "I think the president picked a very good man to be the director of the FBI when he did that in his first term." Oh, and I just thought, as I was hearing this yesterday, I just thought, oh, what's the reaction going to be here at home? Senator Rounds said, "When we met with him behind closed doors, I've had no objections to the way he's handled himself. So I don't have any complaints about the way he's done his job right now," he said. But then he reiterated it's the president's right to select this cabinet. Trump's selection of Patel is not surprising. There are a growing number of, you have a number of people who are saying that if Christopher Wray serves out the remainder of his term, then, which would come up then during Trump's presidency, 3 years, I think. So he's got 3 remaining years. So Donald Trump would be able to appoint someone literally as he's almost done being president. So this whole precedent of 10-year terms for the FBI director, what are your thoughts on that? We'll talk about it. Also, we have got Donald Trump threatening to impose 100% tariffs. And he was going after the BRICS countries. And the BRICS countries are Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the United Arab Emirates. And Trump said the idea that the BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over, Trump said over the weekend. And he's threatening a 100% tariff on these countries. Trump is saying. He said, "We require a commitment from these countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful US economy. They can go find another sucker," Trump said on True Social. I'm making it very clear where he stands on that. Also, Senator Bernie Sanders yesterday criticized defense spending, and he said that Elon Musk is right. The Pentagon, with a budget of $886 billion, just failed its 7th audit in a row. It's lost track of billions. He said last year only 13 senators voted against the military-industrial complex and a defense budget full of waste and fraud. That must change. I think that kind of thing is rampant throughout the federal government. I'm going to save those, I think, reaction from some senators to what's going on with tariffs. Senator Ted Cruz and others being very complimentary of what Donald Trump is proposing with these tariffs. Also, Canada, now this is from Axios, left-leaning Axios. Canada upping border security after a meeting with Donald Trump and a tariff threat. I thought Canada couldn't do any more. I thought we were told Canada can't do any more. Canada is doing everything that it can. Really? Well, they're raising border security following their meeting with Donald Trump. So it doesn't look like they were doing everything that they can. And that's a look at the big stories this morning. Hey, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I had a wonderful time off. Hope you enjoyed it. 6:27. Remember, today is Cyber Monday. Currently, it's partly cloudy and 15. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
Nights 5 to 8. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires. Key in-store details about how to get rebates from major tire manufacturers. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
Bring charm from the outdoors into your home with Renewal by Anderson Picture and Combination Windows. Optimizing a beautiful view and light in the bedroom, kitchen, or living room from ABC Seamless of Sioux Falls. Call 605-646-2667 today.
ABC Seamless. Check off your honey-do list with D&D Electric. We can update your home lighting, fix loose outlets, add USB plugins, and replace dimmer switches so they work with new LED lights. Visit d-delectric.com today. We provide the power. How you use it is up to you.
Make this holiday season a hole-in-one at Sioux Falls Golf where the fairways gleam. Prairie Green, Elmwood, and Keene Park, it's a golfer's dream. This holiday season, swing into the fun. Save 50% on season passes, and the golfer on your list is done. Tee off with friends. Let the good times roll. Perfecting your swing is our holiday goal. So clean off your clubs, come join the cheer. At Sioux Falls Golf, let's make memories this year. On behalf of all of us at Sioux Falls Golf, we wish you a happy holidays.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
Slow it down.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
It's GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
It's GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Remaining cold for this time of the year. Our high today near 20 degrees after that snow last evening. Mostly cloudy skies, northwest winds at 5 to 10 this afternoon. For tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, a low near 8. Tomorrow, though, turning a little warmer, high 33 and back to near 40 on Wednesday. From the Storm Center.
And in Sioux Falls at 6:30, it's partly cloudy, 15 currently at Kello. Joe Bowman is in the Kello.com News Center. Coming up, Governor Kristi Noem will give her budget address to the state legislature tomorrow. Joe will have details just ahead. You're listening to the Greg Belfrage Show on Kello.
Fox News. Foster President Biden's son Hunter says he'll never take it for granted being pardoned by his father ahead of sentencing this month. Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer.
Hunter was convicted earlier this year of federal gun and tax crimes. The move contradicts the president's repeated promises not to use his executive power to pardon his son or commute his sentence. The pardon covers offenses spanning a decade from 2014 to 2024.
That's meant to stop the Trump administration from launching a new prosecution. Rebels advance in Syria.
This swift surprise offensive is a huge embarrassment for Syria's president and also comes at a time when his allies, Iran, Hezbollah, and Russia, are already preoccupied with their own conflicts.
Fox's Stephanie Bennett. The Coast Guard is looking for 5 people reported missing from a 50-foot fishing boat capsized off Alaska. America's listening to Fox News.
News brought to you by Sioux Falls Implant and Sedation Dentistry. They fix your teeth while you sleep.
Kello News Time 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. Governor Kristi Noem is scheduled to deliver her budget address at the state legislature tomorrow. Expected to go over next year's budget and status of the state's economy. Noem takes the podium Tuesday at 1 p.m. South Dakotans are keeping healthy during this year's flu season so far. State health officials say influenza numbers remain low in South Dakota. 139 cases have been reported in the state since the flu season began on October 5th, including 8 hospitalizations, constituting a 3.8% positivity rate. South Dakota is among the top 10 states for the slowest EMS response times. That's according to a new report by Omega Law Group, which ranked South Dakota in 4th place with an average EMS response time of nearly 14 minutes. North Dakota came in 3rd place, Wyoming 2nd, and California in 1st place. The Lincoln High School Marching Band returned home to Sioux Falls over the weekend after performing at the 2024 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. The 215-piece band raised $1 million to make the trip. The group also got to visit the 9/11 Memorial, the Statue of Liberty, Central Park, and took in a Broadway show. Speaking of parades, the city of Tea held its first Parade of Lights to kick off the Christmas season. Residents braved the cold Saturday night to watch nearly 24 floats in the parade. There was even a chili cook-off at the end. And in sports, the Sioux Falls Skyforce sped past the Motor City Cruise 133-110 for their 7th straight win. That puts Sioux Falls tied with the longest winning streak in the NBA G League. The Minnesota Timberwolves came through late during a 93-92 win over the LA Clippers at Target Center on Friday, and the Minnesota Vikings are on a 5-game winning streak following a 23-22 win over the Arizona Cardinals. The Vikings remain in 2nd place in the NFC North at 10-2. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Weather brought to you by Intech Cleaning and Restoration. If you need it clean, call the Intech team. IntechClean.com.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies today in the Sioux Falls area. High temperature at 20 with a northwest wind at 5 to 10. For tonight, low temperature at 8 with a light south breeze. Tomorrow, we're turning a little warmer, mostly sunny with a high of 33 and back close to 40 on Wednesday. That's the latest on your weather from the Storm Center at Kibble-Land TV. I'm meteorologist Brian Karstens.
Into the microphone, through the transmitter, off the tower, into your radio, and stimulating your brain. There's great talk radio every hour on Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Family newsletters are a charming holiday tradition. Births, graduations, retirements.
I want to give you a heads up that I will not be here tomorrow. I go in for I had a stroke a few years ago. Once a year, I go in and they run me through get my annual dose of radiation, and they take a look at how that stint is doing, which is up in lower portion of my brain. So tomorrow morning, I will not be here. Unfortunately, they only do those early in the morning, and I mean early. So I won't be able to be on the air. It's not a big deal. I mean, I went through it last year, and it's, several years I've been through it now. So it's not a big deal. I'm more concerned about, what they find. Is the stint still open? Is it still clear? Last year, I got very good news. The stint was still 100% open and very clear. And there are other good things that are happening. So whether or not that's still the case, I'll find out a little bit more tomorrow. So long story short is I will not be here tomorrow, but I will be back then on Wednesday. So I just want to give you a heads up. So when I'm not here, when I'm doing the show, don't concern yourself. It's a planned day off. And again, I would have liked to have done it after the show, but just wasn't possible. So make you aware of that. Thanksgiving holiday went really fast. I mean, time off was great and just productive and lazy as well. So I had a really good time off, and I hope you did too.
Kim Commando Show, live Saturday
All right.
at 9. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires. Your Give You More tire and automotive store. Financing programs available. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
You drawing up a football play, Matt? Football? No, Chad. It's a liquid kit for a planner. That is a planner setup? Looks like the old loop-de-loop we used to run back in Pee Wee. If I don't draw it up, how do I set it up? Easy. Customers can come on down to C&R Supply, and we'll lay everything out with them. Then they can see their project come to life. A lot less likely to fumble that way.
C&R Supply, your choice to keep you out of the loop-de-loops.
Even the announcer guy knows the loop-de-loop.
I'll show you the loop-de-loop.
Now that the Christmas season is here, it's time to get ready for the holidays with 49th Street Liquor. Whether you're planning a festive feast, hosting a holiday gathering, or just need to stock up before the hustle and bustle begins, 49th Street Liquor has what you need in their clean, spacious store and parking near the door. With prices to keep you jolly and an unbeatable selection of beer, wine, and spirits, plus fine cigars and Dakota Butcher meats, your holiday happy hour starts here. 49th in Minnesota.
Okay, some mornings you might not have that get up and go.
But at least you can get up and know.
The Greg Belfrage Show, with insightful opinions on the latest stories and frequent weather updates. It'll get you in the know while you're getting ready to go. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
6:38, partly cloudy and 15. Great to have you along this morning, and I really hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. As many of us are back at it again this morning. Hey, I want to give you a heads up that I will not be here tomorrow. So, but I will return on Wednesday. So no Greg Belfrage show tomorrow, and then I'll be back on Wednesday. I have to go in for an annual scan following my stroke a few years ago. So it's not a big deal. Just couldn't work it so that I could be on the air and still have the scan done. So I'll be doing that tomorrow morning, back on Wednesday. I want to make you mindful of that. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
Well, the president announced yesterday that he has pardoned his son, Hunter. Hunter facing sentencing this month for federal tax and gun convictions. And the president, in a statement, saying that he signed a pardon for his son, Hunter. It's a full and unconditional pardon. And so that could not be rescinded then by Donald Trump. And Hunter Biden's lawyers then last night notified the judges in his criminal cases about the pardon. And he said in a sworn affidavit that he has accepted the pardon from his father. So in new court filings, Hunter Biden's lawyers told the judges in both of his cases that the pardon requires dismissal of the indictment against him with prejudice and adjournment of all future proceedings in this matter. But you and I will talk about that. I'll open up the phone lines here coming up this morning after 7, and we'll get your reaction to this. There's a lot to talk about. Other stories that are trending this morning. President Biden will be traveling to Angola this week, becoming the first sitting president to do so, following through on his pledge to visit Africa while in office. This is the sub-Saharan Africa. So the trip will mark his first, well, actually, he'll be the first president to visit the region since 2015. And it comes as he has planned to make the trip then to discuss economic partnerships and so on. So the president will be meeting with the president of Angola and to discuss a number of different things. Also, Donald Trump has named Kash Patel as his choice to be the new director of the FBI. And Trump, in his post on True Social, said, Kash is a brilliant lawyer, investigator, and America First fighter who has spent his career exposing corruption, defending justice, and protecting the American people. He said he played a pivotal role in uncovering the Russia hoax, standing as an advocate for truth, accountability, and the Constitution. So Patel would have to win Senate confirmation to become the director of the FBI. He is being called a Trump loyalist. NBC here says an extreme Trump loyalist. And Patel said, it's the honor of a lifetime to be nominated by President Trump to serve as the director of the FBI. Together, we will restore integrity, accountability, and equal justice to our justice system and return the FBI to its rightful mission, protecting the American people. So Patel has worked as a federal prosecutor in Washington, a public defender in Florida. Got a lot of background. The and then you're getting people, unnamed people have worked with Patel saying, oh, you know, if he's so unqualified, why do you have trouble being named as to who you are? You see that? For the life of me, I don't understand that. Also, Donald Trump announced that he would nominate Florida Sheriff Chad Cronister to serve as the administrator for the Drug Enforcement Agency. So Trump, as he's been doing, announcing all of this on Truth Social, and he said for over 32 years, Sheriff Chad Cronister has served the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office and received countless commendations and awards for keeping his community safe. So Cronister would be in charge of seizing illegal substances ranging from fentanyl to other opioids. This is going to be kind of a golden, I hope that this is going to be a golden age for law enforcement during Donald Trump. Whether it's enforcement of the border, whether it's, enforcement of illegal drugs coming into the country. Really, this is pretty incredible to watch. Also, Trump has picked Massad Boulos to serve as his advisor on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs. And Trump said Massad is an accomplished lawyer and a highly respected leader in the business world with extensive experience on the international scene. He has been a longtime proponent of Republican and conservative values, an asset to my campaign, and was instrumental in building tremendous new coalitions within the Arab American community. So he will likely play a role in seeking peace talks to end the wars in the Middle East. That's something that Donald Trump has talked about doing, ending the wars in the Middle East. Other stories that are trending this morning: Elon Musk is asking a federal court to stop OpenAI from converting into a fully for-profit business. And the lead counsel for Elon Musk filed a motion for a preliminary injunction on Friday. And attorneys argued that OpenAI cannot lumber about the marketplace as a Frankenstein stitched together from whichever corporate forms serve the interests of Microsoft. So Elon Musk asking a federal court then to stop it, AI from becoming and converting it into a fully for-profit business. He has sued OpenAI previously. So they've expanded their complaint now. They're including allegations that Microsoft and OpenAI had violated antitrust laws and so on. So Elon Musk is going after them very stubbornly. Also, have you seen the photos from the James Webb Space Telescope? They've returned some new photos of the Sombrero Galaxy. And it's the reason it's called the Sombrero Galaxy, it resembles the Mexican hat. It's about 30 million light years from Earth, NASA said in a news release. Galaxy is surrounded by multiple rings where stars are formed, and at the center is a supermassive black hole that emits a bright jet of light and consumes material then from inside the galaxy. And the photos are really sensational. I saw, it's like, wow, they really are stunning photos, if you have seen those. Also, the chairman of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin has launched his bid to be the chairman of the Democratic National Committee. His name is Ben Wickler. So he will join a field of candidates, including the head of Minnesota Democrats, Ken Martin, former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley, and as well as others. So vying to be the head of the Democratic National Committee. Also, Michaela Schifrin suffered a puncture wound in her abdomen and severe muscle trauma. She crashed during a giant slalom race in Vermont. And this was released by the U.S. Ski and Snowboard yesterday. So Schifrin was chasing a milestone 100th win after setting the fastest time in a run on Saturday, and was close, finish line in sight. She caught an edge that sent one ski flying as she tumbled and crashed into the safety netting. So again, a puncture wound in her abdomen, and there was no ligament damage apparently. Bones and internal organs looked okay, but a puncture wound right into the side of her abdomen and severe muscle trauma. And she said on Saturday she just can't move. and she had an abrasion and that something stabbed me during the fall. Yeah, it was in a spectacular fall. Best wishes to her. Also, Customs and Border Protection officials in Los Angeles seized more than $18 million in fake Gibson guitars. It's the largest counterfeit musical instrument seizure in history. So they're saying these things would have brought millions then so about $18 million they would have brought. Again, they're fake, so they're not worth that much, but agencies more than 3,000 counterfeit guitars. And again, had they been genuine, the value would have been nearly $19 million. The fake guitars came from Asia, and Gibson fans know that Gibson only makes guitars here in the United States. They do not make them in Asia. They do not make them overseas. These were fakes. So the chief marketing officer of Gibson said the seizure was emotional and personal for the company because it represents generations of American families that have dedicated their entire lives to handcrafting Gibson instruments. It's a huge seizure. In other stories trending, a new law in Belgium granting labor rights to sex workers went into effect yesterday. And this is a first. This Belgium, which is why it's trending. So this Belgium law granting labor rights to sex workers, advocacy groups saying this is a major step forward for the rights of sex workers globally. And I think that's where we'll end right there. Any additional details might be a little upsetting to the host. All right. This was heartbreaking, and you may have seen photos of this fire. It's a $3 million mansion in Connecticut that was engulfed in flames on Thanksgiving because they had a turkey frying inside of the garage. They were frying a turkey inside of the garage, and home caught on fire, and it just blazed out of control. Absolutely, the whole firefighters say when we arrived, the whole garage end of the house was on fire, like a third of the house, they said. And the heat was so intense that they couldn't get, and it accelerated very quickly, according to firefighters. So there are photos you may have seen, the whole house then engulfed. A $3 million mansion lost to the fire started because they were frying a turkey in the garage. Sadly, a few deaths to share with you. Actor Wayne Northrup, who was known for his roles on Days of Our Lives and Dynasty, has passed away at the age of 77. You would know him. You see his photo, and it's like you have seen him in things before. So he was Wayne. This was a statement released by his wife. Said Wayne was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's 6 years ago. And she said he took his last breath in the arms of his family. So we wish to thank the most caring and amazing place, the Motion Picture and Television Home, for taking such great care of him. Wayne touched so many people with a sense of humor and wit. So he has sadly passed away. Also, lost is Hall of Fame college basketball coach Lou. I'm likely to mispronounce his name. Carnesecca. Is it Lou Carnesecca? Won more than 500 games. Led St. John's to 2 Big East tournament titles, as well as other titles. He died Saturday at the age of 99. So he died in the hospital, surrounded by his family, just weeks shy of his 100th birthday. Also, Josh Allen, quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, and actor Haley Steinfeld posted a photo to their Instagram followers on Friday of Allen on one knee proposing marriage. And so the photo was just going crazy. The picture was taken on a grassy ridge overlooking water. The couple surrounded by candles framed by a large arch that was covered in flowers. So the NFL reposted the picture on X to congratulate the pair on their engagement. So this would likely, folks are postulating where the photo was, likely on the California coastline, where Allen lives during the off season. So they're announcing their engagement. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show, brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
24 hours a day, we deliver the news to you at home.
Thanks so much for letting me join you. Please come back at 9:30 for the 4th hour. So I'll see you again then. Take care, my friend. Have a great Monday.
Poor Mark. Just when he thought he was done shoveling. Ah, fiddlesticks, not the plow. Winter driving you